Okay, welcome everyone to this very unique deep dive we've put together just for you.
Yeah, unique is definitely the word for it today. We're working from just one single source.
Exactly. It's a PDF, and the file name is bombardino-crocodilo.pdf. That's it.
And when you open it up, well, what do you find?
You find the phrase Bombardino Crocodilo, and then you find the phrase Crocodilo Bombardino.
And that's literally the entire document. Just those two phrases repeated over and over. No introduction, no explanation, nothing else.
So the big question for us today, the challenge really, is what on earth can we actually learn from this?
Right. What kind of insights, if any, can we pull from just relentless repetition and this simple flip between two words?
Bombardino, crocodilo, bombardino. What's the significance? What are we supposed to understand?
We're going to try and unpack that, see if we can find some clarity, maybe even a few, aha moments without making stuff up, obviously.
Yeah, because at first glance, you might just dismiss it, right? Just noise, maybe?
Or some kind of error, perhaps.
But when you actually sit with it, the back and forth, it starts to feel intentional.
Mm-hmm. There's a structure there, however minimal. It's not just Bombardino Crocodilo stamped 100 times.
No, the fact that it alternates, that Crocodilo Bombardino comes in, it sets up a relationship, a connection.
And that's really the crux of it, isn't it? That interplay. What does that back and forth do?
Does it create rhythm? Does it suggest, I don't know, balance?
Well, patterns emerge,
Yeah.
right? Even from something this simple. And we as humans, we're kind of wired to look for meaning in patterns.
Absolutely. If it was just the one phrase, Bombardino Crocodilo, repeated endlessly, that would feel different. More like a mantra, maybe. Or just stuck.
Yeah, like a broken record. But bringing in Crocodilo Bombardino, switching it up, it feels more dynamic.
Like two sides of a coin, or maybe two characters saying their lines.
That's an interesting way to put it. It highlights the duality.
When you think about really basic communication, you often have that, don't you? Like question, answer, action, reaction.
Yeah, this can almost be seen as a super stripped down version of that fundamental back and forth structure.
Yeah.
Very, very minimal.
Okay, but let's talk about the words themselves. Bombardino. What does that even bring to mind? For me, it's got a sound, like a musical instrument. Maybe brass.
It does have that musical suggestion, sort of mellow maybe.
Yeah.
And then you've got Crocodilo.
Which is, well, a crocodile, a reptile. Something ancient, maybe a bit dangerous. Powerful, definitely.
So the pairing itself is quite striking. You've got this potential sound, the Bombardino, versus this very concrete, almost primal creature, the Crocodilo.
It's an odd couple, unexpected.
And then the fact that the order keeps flipping, Bombardino, Crocodilo, then Crocodilo, Bombardino. It makes you wonder.
Wonder about what? Like, who's in charge?
Or, yeah, maybe emphasis. Is the Bombardino affecting the Crocodilo in the first phrase?
And then is the Crocodilo affecting the Bombardino in the second?
It's pure speculation, obviously, because the document gives us absolutely nothing else to go on.
But the repetition just pushes your brain that way, doesn't it? To try and build some kind of narrative or relationship.
Exactly. Our minds want to create meaning, especially when there's not much else but repetition. It forces you to focus on those two elements.
Oh, what really sticks with me is the sound of it, the rhythm.
Tell me more about that.
Like, Bombardino Crocodilo, then it flips. Crocodilo, Bombardino, Crocodilo, Bombardino. The rhythm changes slightly.
Okay, I see that. The emphasis shifts.
Yeah, it's almost like a very basic form of sound poetry or something. It's using the contrast in the sounds of the words and their order.
That's a really neat way to think about it, like minimalist music, where composers use repetition and just tiny variations to build something.
Right. We don't have notes here, obviously, but the phrases themselves act like motifs.
Like motifs, yeah. And the alternating sequence provides the structure, however simple.
Which brings us back to the intention. I mean, what is this thing?
Good question.
Is it like conceptual art, some kind of language experiment?
Could be. Or maybe it's just a fragment, a piece of something bigger we just don't have access to.
We just don't know. The source gives us zero context. Zip.
And we have to keep reminding ourselves of that, all this analysis. It's based only on what's inside the document, the repetition, the words.
So any interpretation is, by definition, pretty speculative.
But the process itself, the trying to make sense of it, that can tell us something, right? About how we look for meaning.
So, okay, let's recap for the listener. What have we actually pulled out of this Bombardino Crocodilo Bombardino loop?
Well, we've definitely noted the relentless repetition, That's inescapable.
And the simple, consistent reversal of the two words.
The contrasting nature of the words themselves, this musical instrument idea versus the reptile.
And we've talked about possible effects like rhythm, maybe a sense of duality, maybe even the hint of some kind of interaction or narrative, however vague.
I think the key insight maybe is seeing just how powerful simple repetition can be, and how even a tiny change, just flipping the order, can have a noticeable impact.
Yeah, this document has no story, no data, no argument. Just these two phrases.
And yet it makes you think, doesn't it? About language, patterns, and, like you said, our own drive to find significance.
It really underscores that complexity isn't the only path to depth. Sometimes simplicity forces you to look harder at the basics.
In this case, just words and the order we put them in.
So here's the big question we're sort of left with, and maybe for you, the listener, to ponder as well.
What could this constant back and forth between Bombardino and Crocodilo actually signify, if anything?
Is it meant to be absurd? Just playful nonsense?
Or is it hinting at some kind of dynamic, some relationship that's just beyond our grasp because we lack the context?
Or maybe it's just a weird digital artifact and trying to interpret it is, missing the point entirely.
Could be.
Yeah.
We've gone through the repetitions, the sounds, the images, all from this one, let's be honest, very strange PDF.
And it really shows how even the bare minimum of information can spark all these questions and potential interpretations.
And at the end of the day, we have to accept the open-endedness. The source doesn't give us an answer.
The intended meaning. Well, it stays hidden, if there even is one.
And maybe that's the real point. It highlights our tendency as humans to search for meaning, to build narratives, even when faced with ambiguity, maybe especially then.
So a final thought to leave you with. Think about that power of repetition and how subtle shifts, even with just two words, can change how something feels or what it might suggest.
Yeah, look around you. What other really simple patterns, things you might normally overlook, could actually hold some unexpected depth or significance if you stop to really consider them?
Maybe let that Bombardino Crocodilo Bombardino sequence just rattle around in your head for a bit. See what connections, what weird ideas it might spark for you.